Well, hello. Finally, I get to post a real tape about me going to do. Finally, don't have to draw like in '98. Date is March 13th, 1999. My name is Hamilton Jones. I'm 14 years old and I'm a journalist, mainly a media journalist. But I'm extremely new for that title, so that's what I call myself. And what I'm excited by. So I'm traveling essentially, my main job is to travel to regions of Russia right now that are mostly rural. But my main job is to travel to countries which have very tense geopolitical situations. Like they have a civil war, they're at war, they have economic restraints, they have protests and so on, like in Yugoslavia. I also went to Bosnia. That's mostly in '98. Especially in early '98, I went to Bosnia, Croatia, Kosovo, North Macedonia, and Serbia, which is not still Yugoslavia. I wonder when they will fully collapse. It's connected with Montenegro. I'm saying Montenegro because it's a part of Yugoslavia right now, which will hopefully be a country. I don't see that to happen. Anyway, that's mostly where I'm going. I'm also going to be traveling to African countries, like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Botswana. But I also want to see what everyday life of these people in their respective countries are during these tensions. That's what I want to see. So I'm reporting that. That's my main part of my job. I'm reporting. I'm putting them into tapes, written in messages, photos, interviews, recorded interviews. But finally I have a camera. There's a 1-year-old camera. I got this in February 17th of '98. Finally. Finally didn't have a tape recorder in which I had to do manually every time to record my voice. Finally have actual video evidence. I hope that my main knowledge will be broadcasted to other media like BBC and other parts of radio. I was born in Riga, my main capital in Latvia. Then when I was 3 years old, I, with my family, moved to Cēsis, which is a much smaller city, but I love that city more than Riga in plethora of reasons, but I'm not going to explain it because it's not relevant at all. But anyway, I'm going to be broadcasting this to my main diary and my main archive. My main area that I'm going right now is Chukotka in Russia, in a town, which is the biggest city by the way, slash town, is Anadir, or Another. It's next to a river, and I'm going to be showing you where Chukotka is right. So you can see Russia mainly here. You can see where Moscow is, St. Petersburg, Chelyabinsk. Right now, by the way, where I'm staying, I'm actually staying in Krasnoyarsk. I'm in actual Siberia. I'm in Krasnoyarsk Krai right now, in this main region. Cool flag, by the way, and very natural beauty. Where is Chukotka? Well, it's over here. This is Chukotka. This is a town called Anadir. It's hard to see, but it's usually over there. Somewhere there is that main part. Do you see how north that is? Here's the Arctic Ocean. Look where their major cities are. That's very high. So I'm going to be traveling there right now. I'm in Krasnoyarsk. I'll be going literally to Yakutia, aka Yakutsk, and which I cannot see on the map really. Somewhere there. So I'm gonna be traveling somewhere there. Then I'm gonna be getting by plane, because believe me, there are no roads going to mainland Russia that far. So I'm gonna be taking a few hour plane from Yakutia to actually a city or a town called Ugolne. Now Ugolne is basically a town which is less than half the size of Anadir, which is on the other side of the river. So for example, this is a river. If you look on the map, this is a river, top view by the way. This is Anadir, which is located here, and then you have Ugolne, which is over here. So you have to travel across a river. So the river is frozen. You barely have any winter, summer. I forgot which month, but I'm gonna be for sure in snow. lucky if I don't, but remember it's March. You know, they're in the Arctic region, the most isolated part of Russia. Even their population, if I'm not mistaken, is less than 50,000 in the whole Okrug, which, mind you, Okrug, aka the region, is 3 times the size of Baltic states combined, more than that. So they barely have more population than like 3 or 2 of Tsesis, my cities. That's insane, but makes sense. By the way, a lot of Russians have fled recently after the collapse of the Soviet Union in '99. No, what am I thinking? '91. After the collapse, a lot of Russians left, and now they're mostly Chukchi people. They're national populace. So, yeah, Chukotka is not doing right now. It's, even by Russian standards, pretty poor, extremely cold. So, fishing is there. It has the biggest wooden church in the world. Even fishing in winter, in the river. And I'll be crossing across that river. So, I don't know, by some pictures that I've seen, an area that looks like Alaska, in Barrow, almost. I mean, it's almost the same size as Barrow. I think Barrow might be a tad bit smaller or bigger than Anadir. But Anadir has these buildings that are square, like Murmansk, but they're in color, and they're built basically higher, so the first floor is more like second floor. It's mainly they have but wooden beams and such, mainly because it's on permafrost. I'll explain when I'll be going there. Remember, March 16th, I'll be going to Chukotka. So that's my main journey there. So I'm going to be documenting this on my tape, and I'll be respectful. I will not try to film the people I'm interviewing with. Maybe I'll share some photos, but I'll be respectful. It's media. I do not have to put their face in the title. No. You know, a journalist, I need to be respectful for that kind of. I basically put myself as a journalist. After Chukotka, I'll be going to Kamchatka. And in Chukotka, one of my main things I'm going there is mainly because there's a billionaire who is interested in the region and funding some projects. So I'll maybe interview him. I hope he in the future becomes the mayor of either Anadid or Krug. I kind of hope, because he's a nice guy. So I hope that in the future I could maybe witness some prosperity in the region, because it's pretty poor. Economic problems just like the rest of Russia in this current year. It makes sense. Boris Yeltsin didn't really improve anything. I hate him. I hate him very much. But Vladimir Putin right now, he seems like a nice guy. I mean, he kind of supports NATO, and he looks like a promising figure. I hope in the future he will fix the democracy in that nation, because it was gone in '93 in Black October. That's all I'm saying. He manipulated the power. Boris Yeltsin manipulated the power. It's basically, what if a democratic leader wanted more power, was more greedy, and manipulated the State Duma? He should have been impeached, but he didn't. So he basically almost started a civil war against Boris Yeltsin supporters and State Duma supporters, because at that time the president didn't own, like, you know, all the power. Even currently that's not the case, but the thing is, he ruined it. Right now, he manipulated the constitution, and now the president has, like, I think more power than the State Duma. It should be the opposite. The State Duma elects other officials and other candidates. You know, they're very fair. Their, you know, vote systems were more free. Well, at least public speech is free, so you can make fun of the president and nothing happen to you, which is good, because some countries do not even have that. Anyway, so I hope Vladimir Putin will improve the nation. Maybe he will visit, or the next president after Putin would visit the region, and I hope population will thrive more, economy will thrive, because right now it's not doing that good. In the Soviet times they were doing much better. They had military equipment, military stations all over Anadyrh and the whole region. I mean, they housed military, I think, explosives or missiles. It makes sense. They're right next to Alaska. if you look at the map, I mean, you can't see really the last one, but it's literally right there. You can take a ship there. Even on frozen on ice, you can go there, but it's not really legal. I don't even recommend that. So, I'll be going to Chukotka. I'm excited. I mean, it's gonna be extremely cold and extremely, like, full of snow. Maybe I'll go to some parts where there's not that much snow. Maybe in the warmest parts, or I'm gonna be traveling more than just Nadir. I'll be going to other surrounding towns and cities. What I'm gonna be doing. So, there's that. A rare chance for me to actually visit the Arctic side of things. So, yeah, that's the end of this report tape. I hope I do not lose this tape. That's the end. Let's see you on March 16th in Ugerne. Maybe I'll get a few photos when I'm going across the river, I guess. But anyway, this is the end of this tape, so see you next time.